Welcome back to Loon's Leaves, y'all. Today we're going to be talking about alternatives to give to your Valentine that aren't roses and flowers. Valentine's Day is a holiday that can be celebrated by everyone, and you can have a Valentine who is anyone. You could have your Valentine be your mom, your kids, your daughter, your son, your lover. Anybody can be your Valentine, your best friend even. So Valentine's Day to me is for everyone, and I personally don't really acknowledge Valentine's Day unless I'm in school that day. I am a teacher, and so Valentine's Day gets blown up if you're in school. We trade Valentines and little pieces of candy and pencils and things like that. It's super cute. But if I'm not in school, don't really acknowledge it. My partner and I don't personally feel the need to, and we're more of like a buy a box of half-price chocolate the next day and kind of binge out and watch a movie. So if you want to celebrate it, celebrate it. If you trade gifts, this is a good guide. If you don't trade gifts for Valentine's Day, this is still a good guide for gifting certain kinds of plants for birthdays, maybe anniversaries. This would be a great guide for that, as well as any kind of other holiday, maybe a seasonal holiday of some sort that you want to give a gift for. So, just to also acknowledge, flowers are really, really expensive and pretty popular to give around Valentine's Day. I will put the current price of roses up on the screen actually. I'll look at a couple of different websites for that, and they're just so expensive and they die so quickly. I mean, the longest I've seen roses really last is maybe 2.5 weeks, and then they're gone. So these are some more different alternatives that are gonna last a lot longer for you and your Valentine as well. I also think these are some unique choices that are going to make you stand out amongst all the other people that might have been your Valentine's previous Valentines. So you want to really stick out there and be their Valentine next year as well. So to start us off, I have about 5 different categories. One of them is plants that are symbols of luck and love. Another is flowering plants. So not all houseplants flower. In fact, most of them don't generally flower, but there are a small handful that do, and some of them will be flowering during this season, as well as pink and red plants. Those are super popular during this time for the purposes of Valentine's Day. Heart-shaped plants can also be pretty popular during this time. And if you cannot find a plant that is pink or heart-shaped or flowering during this season, there's always the themed planter to fall back on. So to start us off, we're going to go through some plants that are symbols of luck and love. This is pretty common in most Asian cultures to have plants that symbolize these types of things. And one of those are Japanese Morimo moss balls. So I'm sorry you can see the light in the container here, and the water's a little cloudy because they do need to be changed. But these Japanese Morimo moss balls are incredibly easy to care for. They would also make a very unique gift because there is some lore, or I guess a legend, that goes along with Morimo moss balls and kind of why they're the symbol of love. And that is because centuries ago there was a legend that there were 2 lovers from Japan that could not be together for some reason, some Romeo-Juliet situation. And then they ran away together and decided to jump into a famous lake in Japan, or pond in Japan, I'm not exactly sure. And then they rolled together as one into a lovely Morimo moss ball. So super adorable, endearing little story about love and kind of perseverance as far as relationships go. And my partner actually purchased these Morimo moss balls for me as a Christmas gift a few years ago, and I loved reading the lore behind them. So I paraphrased that quite a bit. I would, if you do end up purchasing those for your Valentine, I would do a little bit more research as far as that goes, maybe print out the lore for them to read alongside it, so you can kind of explain why you bought these little Morimo moss balls for them. So incredibly easy plant to care for. Would definitely be very high on my list of plants that would be a great idea to gift for Valentine's Day or any anniversary, holiday, whatever you wish to gift them for. Along those same lines, jade plants are often symbols of love, as well as bamboo and different kinds of bonsai. Along those same lines, if you're going for something that could be in or outdoor, lavender is a symbol of love, or I've been told that they can be symbols of love. Ivy is a good symbol of a strong, sturdy relationship just because the plant is very hardy itself and it's hard to kill and hard to get off of things. It kind of attaches itself on there really, really well. I've also often heard that ivy is a good symbol of friendship. So maybe if you don't have a Valentine that's your lover this year, you could be giving some ivy to a friend. They often make beautiful ivy topiaries that could be heart-shaped or different little circles and shapes and things like that. That would be really nice as well if you want a more complete gift. And then something that's been more trendy in past years that I've seen are something called a love fern. And this was popularized, I think, by an early 90s, maybe mid 2000s. I can't remember what time this came out. I believe it was a rom-com called How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I'm not exactly sure if that is it. I will put the rom-com up on the screen and some images from that scene. In the movie, there's a scene where I think it's Kate Hudson is yelling at Matthew McConaughey for killing their love fern, and they're popularized the existence of love ferns in general. So I'm sure you could purchase any fern for this little ode to pop culture if you wish. But ferns are now considered a representation of love and prosperity. So let's say you don't like any of those options, or maybe you don't want to go with those, and you want something that is a little bit more Valentine's Day, a little bit of red, a little bit of flowers. Going into flowering plants, you have some smaller options here, or I guess the pool of options gets a little bit smaller because flowering houseplants are not extremely common, and those that are mostly flower in the spring and summertime. Lots of Hoyas flower and things like that. However, anthuriums are a good option. I'll put some pictures of those up on the screen now. They often bloom in pink and red anyways, so they kind of fit along that theme. Orchids are a fantastic option. However, I would kind of save orchids for somebody who's a little bit more experienced with plants. Maybe your grandma has a beautiful collection of orchids and she's your Valentine this year. Go ahead and get her a new one. Or maybe you know a horticulturist, or your girlfriend or boyfriend is really into plants already. That would be a great person to give an orchid to. Orchids can just be a little harder to care for and can be really discouraging to first-time plant owners. So maybe kind of heed that warning a little bit when gifting those. And then finally, bromeliads have a beautiful flowering kind of leaf structure in the center there, and they come in a variety of colors. So if you're not really liking that kind of reddish pink theme to Valentine's Day, they have yellow, they have kind of like a greenish blue I've seen, all different kinds of colors as far as bromeliads go. So they're another great option for flowering houseplants. Along those same lines, let's say you don't want to go for kind of the obvious flower, you could go for a red or a pink toned plant. There are tons of plants out there that have red and pink foliage to them. I will link some resources down below. Apartment Therapy specifically has a really great resource that lists a handful of red and pink flowers. They were more for interior design purposes. That's the reason they made the article, but it works perfectly for this time of year. I'll link that as well as a few others. Some that I have in person with me now are this moon cactus. So this cactus here has this beautiful reddish kind of dark pink color to it. And a lot of cactuses, if you watched my video about cactuses a few weeks ago, you'll know that they have been spray painting cactus as well as adding fake foliage onto cactus. And in that video, I detail how to kind of go about solving that issue and taking care of that if you did purchase a plant like that. But this is natural to the moon cactus. They come in a variety of different colors as well, especially yellow and orange, warmer colors I've seen a lot of. And not only does this cactus have a nice red theme, but cactus can, especially the moon cactus, can be a little suggestive as well. So if you want to be a little coy this holiday season, a moon cactus might also be a nice option for you. Along with this guy, I also have a Dracaena or Dracaena, again, not really sure how to pronounce it. And this has some red coloring on the edges of the leaves. So I'm going to try to hold it a little closer. And on these edges here, there is some red slash kind of pinkish striping. And I think this is called the Dragon Dracena or Dracena because of that red pinkish striping. But pretty stunning plant overall, especially when the light catches it. And so this would be a fun little gift to get as a Valentine. And it also is really easy to care for along with the cactus. So if you're trying to keep things easy for your Valentine or their new plant parent, and you really are truly using this as an alternative to flowers and things you would normally be purchasing for Valentine's Day, these are some great choices because they're easy to care for as well as aesthetically pleasing. Now, to cap off the houseplants, I'm going to talk about a couple of heart-shaped houseplants. Now, most philodendron and pothos and things have a nice heart shape to them, and so houseplants with that heart-shaped foliage are pretty easy to find in big box stores and any nursery you're going to go to. One of those is a philodendron Monstera deliciosa. And so that's what I have here. They have, now if you have a Monstera deliciosa, most plant parents are hoping for fenestration on their Monstera like this, or holes, because it is called the Swiss cheese plant as kind of like a common name. But some of them, especially younger varieties, have just this nice kind of heart-shaped paddle leaf to it. So if you want a more obvious symbol of your love, then maybe go with something like this. Philodendron Brazil, which I'll put a picture up on the screen of, also have a nice heart shape to them. Pothos having that nice heart shape. Arrowhead plants, not as obvious as a heart shape because it kind of comes to a point on the curves of the heart right here, but would still be a nice choice. And something that I've been finding is becoming really popular are, I think this is what they're called, and I will correct myself on the screen if I'm wrong, but I think they are Hoya weicherii, and they are small Hoya leaves that are heart-shaped. A lot of people think they're like succulents. It is in fact a variety of Hoya, and they are coming in like single pots. I've seen them on the sill and different places like that. So I'll link some of those below, some places for you to purchase plants online if you want to send them to somebody rather than having to buy them in person and then shipping them somewhere. I will link some different online options below, as well as some places that also sell Hoya weicherii, which are pretty popular these days. So let's say you don't want to buy your partner any more plants. They already have a ton of plants. Maybe they, you just didn't find any varieties you like to this Valentine's Day season or whatever season you're shopping for. So you can always go with a nice Valentine's Day or loved theme planter. Right now, I believe that it is Hearth and Hand, which is a Chip and Joanna Gaines owned line of products that is sold in Target, has the cutest little planter that says I love you on it. It looks like it's written in script on there by hand. So that would be a really adorable little planter to give for Valentine's Day, or maybe you want to make a more complete gift. So you're going to purchase one of the plants and then pot it up in the cute little I love you planter. There's planters with hearts on them, different pink planters. So I will link some Etsy shops. I really love supporting small businesses. So if I find anything that's off of Etsy, I'll also link that below, of different kind of Valentine's Day themed planters. Or if your Valentine is not as into red and hearts and pink and flowers and all of that stuff, maybe you can gift them something that kind of fits along a theme of a hobby they like. This is an adorable little planter that I received from my sister this year from Christmas. And this planter has a bunch of imagery of Animal Crossing all over it. So these are characters from the Nintendo Switch game Animal Crossing, which I in fact do play quite often. And this is Leaf, the little character that's sticking out of here, and it came with some seeds. She says they're succulent seeds. There were options on the Etsy store that I, because I wanted to link it in another video, I found it. There's options for other type of seeds as well. So you can grow a plant from start, or you could always take those seeds out of the equation and just plant up a plant that you already have in this adorable little planter. So maybe you're gonna fit along with a theme that they really like or a hobby they really enjoy. Maybe they have a favorite animal, like this beautiful elephant kind of mug planter that I have here. This is not originally intended to be a planter, it was a mug. I just thought it would be really cute as a planter, and it's doing pretty well for this pilea here. So any kind of hobby or theme or something that they enjoy, you will be able to find a planter for it, guaranteed. Anything, even obscure things, you'll be able to find a planter for. I mean, I thought Animal Crossing would be pretty obscure as far as planters go, and here we are. So as long as it's out there, it's probably on Etsy. Some Etsy seller is probably creating that for you. So look on there, support any small business you can as far as that goes. And I hope this helped you decide what to get your Valentine this year, or maybe you're celebrating an anniversary or a different holiday and you just wanted some options that are more love themed. So thank you so much for watching, and happy Valentine's Day.